be up.
Yeah. There we are.
Yeah. Audio working. Let's see here. Get this thing going. We had another game yesterday at Seminole.
Oh, how'd that go?
We lost.
Oh,
I played pretty bad.
really?
Yeah, I was like,
Usually you're real consistent.
I shot probably like 2 for 6, 2 for 7, but I had to guard the best player on the other team. He had like 15 in like the first fucking 2 minutes, and I was like, "Yo, let me guard him."
Oh, before you switch on to him.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, because they
Okay.
wouldn't there's pride on the line, and we open up the game. We're down like 20-2, and I'm like, just move out of the way.
Yeah.
And Tor was like, guys, let's not argue a ton of shots. I said, man,
Wait, who's that?
move
Wait.
out the way.
Wait, who was the no argue guy?
Toro.
Oh,
I understand, but I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, somebody's got to do it, man.
Yeah. And
Gotta step
and
up.
I'm just not. I can't play that hard of a defense and shoot well. That's an excuse, but I'm using it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was like 2 for 6.
No, but it is legitimate. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
That's yeah. That's too funny. Who was the other guy that we had to guard?
He's like a really good scorer, man. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
I don't have a name though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He said he played college, but I couldn't tell you which one off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me put this on the socials.
The socials. It's kind of a douchey term. Did you guys get close in the game, or was it just kind of a blowout the whole way?
No. We fought back once we made that switch. And then, like I said, we opened the game. We was probably down by 18-20.
Yeah.
We fought within 4. Aaron played really good.
Okay.
He was the only one that really had a good game. Toro played pretty decent too.
Okay.
But Aaron really had a good game. Matter of fact, he got really tired at the close at a half, 3 minutes. He was like, okay, somebody get me.
Yeah.
And then we had closed it to 6. He went out with 3 minutes to go. Halftime, we're down 11.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we came out, and then we probably lost by 15.
Okay.
Kind of lost the wheel at the end.
Yeah. That'll happen.
Yeah. That'll happen for sure.
Especially when you have a team of unfit guys.
Unfit guys, nervous guys.
Who's nervous?
Guys who can't catch the ball, hold on to the ball. Guys who shooting air balls. Guys that are nervous in a rec game and guys that can't catch a ball are guys that don't need to be there. Yeah. Tell me about it.
Those guys need to be at home.
Tell me about it, man.
In the safety of their own couch.
I did not put this in for our audio listeners.
Oh, damn.
Let's catch that early.
Caught it before it's too late.
Yeah.
Kind of like fighting cancer.
Oh, boy. I'm not a find the hole guy.
You're not to be trusted when anal's on the line. Oh, damn. You got to have her guide it in for you. There we go. Booyah. Yeah. Not a find the hole guy. That's not good. That's too funny.
All righty, welcome back. You guys are back on the Bench Podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We're available on all, and I do mean all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. All right. Pink, man.
Yes.
We had Brandon Joyner on here on this show. And we also had oh man. All right, let's just stick with Brandon.
Your memory's that bad?
Yeah. I know it's the it was the comedian guy, the guy who was Hood News. We had Hood News on here,
okay.
and we had Brandon Joyner on here. Both of them. Brandon was on here specifically for West Orlando Jags and the youth football.
Right.
And then we found out while Hood News was on here that he, participates and helps out over there as well. Maybe has a kid over there, he was saying. For the first time, I finally got a chance to go and check the game out.
Oh, you did?
West Orlando Jags, this past weekend.
Okay.
And a friend of mine, Lorenzo's, his son was his son's team was playing against the West Orlando Jags. All right.
Oh, okay.
And and how it works in that elite league, it's whatever 6 or 7U, and it goes all the way up to whatever 13U. So they're playing game after game after game. They got 2 different fields. Okay, the environment is crazy because they got all these different vendors, really good food. And I'm not talking about just hot dogs. I'm talking about they have whatever wings and burgers and seafood, like actual lobster and crabs.
Like, do they actually have the food trucks?
Food trucks, and it's a bunch of them too. And then they got the little lemonade stands, anything you need. It's hot out there, so they got everything.
I was gonna say,
ices.
You got a captive audience. I mean, it's probably 95 degrees out there.
Yeah,
and you got all these kids and their parents and everybody else.
Yeah, they got a DJ out there.
Oh,
Matter of fact, DJ that want to come on the show, I gotta write him back. He wants to come on the show. He watches the show.
Okay.
He's just getting stopped in the middle of a kid's game and saying, "Hey, when you gonna get me on the show?" I like that. Okay, like that we're getting recognized out here.
That's the type of recognition we want. Shut down the kids' game.
Yeah, man, and you got some single moms out there that come out there, and I know they're single because some of them out there you come out there with the booty shorts on. There's no reason to be out there with booty shorts if you're not trying to campaign yourself.
But it's warm.
Huh?
You said it's hot.
Yeah, it's really hot.
So maybe booty shorts are appropriate. I'm not going to complain.
Oh, no. There's no complaints. Yeah, there's no room for complaints there.
Bubba, I told you a long time ago, single moms in the athletic scene, if you're like a athletic sporting guy, that's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah, man. I didn't know. Yeah. I know now.
Did you bring your gun?
Kobe says, "Yo, happy Bubba and Pink Day. It's Wednesday."
That's right.
We're replacing Hump Day. And so I'm out there, right? And
did you bring your gun to shoot some fish?
No.
Damn.
Now, West Orlando Jags is, they're the talk of the town. But there are some other good programs. Now, my homeboy Lorenzo, his son, they were in the 9U. So West Orlando Jags, they won that game 7-0. So they beat, but it was a good game.
Tough defensive struggle.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And they had some trouble there, but the kids were like really good. Now, the next game 10U was with Brandon, Brandon's son.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know if you remember, but Brandon was on the show talking about the quarterback because at that time they had just finished up 9U season.
Yeah.
And he was talking about Brody. That's the first time I heard Brody's name. But ever since then, I kept hearing the name. There's people talking about it, which is weird because you don't hear many people talking about a kid that is like 9 years old, 10 years old that plays, Little League football. Pink. I tell you no lie, Pink. This guy's 10 years old. I know people love to over-exaggerate. I'm not over-exaggerating. He could start for a high school football team today.
Really?
Today.
Wow.
And just to make sure it wasn't because of the team he was playing against, I went to his IG page and it looks the same. Like when he come out there, now the team overall is overpowering. Like it was 14-0 before Brody even took the field.
We had 2 pair of defensive touchdowns?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the team is overpowering at least that week. And the 10U team is like really effing good. All right.
Well, that's what he made it sound like. That's the feature team of this whole operation.
And that's what Brandon was saying. Yeah. Right. Now also, hold on, I'll get to that later. Let me finish on the 10U team. Brody, he gets out there, right? Maybe like the second or third play of the drive, boom, 50-yard touchdown pass. And I'm not talking about 5 yards and the guy runs. the ball is 50 yards in the air. This guy's 10 years old. I can't throw 50 yards down the field. Literally.
I know. I've seen you. that I feel confident about.
Right on the rope, right in the boy's hand. And shout out to the kid who caught it, because that's a good catch as well from a young kid.
Yeah.
Right in stride. Boom, touchdown. And I said, that's all I need to see, and I left. So I don't even know what else he did. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
There was nothing else I needed to see.
That's not how you.
There was nothing else.
No,
nothing else I needed to see.
That's not what I do.
That kid he's phenomenal. And
that's why I would stay. I just want to see what else does he do.
Yeah.
I want to see him different situations, different things. That's funny. Now, what like is he a big kid for the age group or no?
No, it doesn't look like. That's. When you throw that extra caveat in, but he doesn't look like a big kid.
Okay.
He looks like a receiver playing quarterback as far as his frame and everything.
Kind of like a long athletic frame? Or?
Longer frame, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe like, he has a good height for that age and a slender build.
Okay.
That's exactly how he looks.
Is he athletic? Does he run?
Yeah, he runs. He runs some too. Yeah, that's why I said, because the first play was a like a running back play. Second play was a quarterback design run. Okay. Then the third down was the long touchdown pass.
Well, now project this out. Like what would be a prototype he appears to look like?
A prototype he appears is I would say I see some Jordan Love. I see something like that. I'll say, I don't want to go like Mahomes or whatever. I didn't see, and he, how he projects it would throw better than Lamar. His body type looks like Lamar and all of that good stuff. But this kid here, he's already he's throwing like darts down the field. And when you see the other, and that's the other thing too, when you see these other kids, the other teams, even in 11 and 12U, in 9U, they're throwing their main pass play is the lateral
little bubble screen type
screen. They're doing that the entire game,
right?
Or maybe they'll do a 3-yard hitch, or they do these the 5-yard crossing routes. That's the most you're gonna get downfield when you're watching these kids. And this guy, they're throwing 20, 30-yard post routes, outposts, and it's like what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
high school.
If you look at it from the other side, if you're going to prepare to play with them, you probably have to just have a coach play quarterback to replicate the ball getting pushed down the field. If most of the quarterback, if your quarterback or whatever, doesn't have the arm like that, and they've got to work the crossing routes and the bubble screens to give you a passing game, you probably got to have a coach or maybe an older kid just come in that can replicate pushing that ball down the field
to get your defense prepared. That's a good point.
It's how you have to look at it. If you're playing, if you play 10 games and 9 games are against guys all kind of doing a similar sort of underneath stuff, then now you play this other guy and suddenly the game changes because you haven't had to guard routes that deep down the field. You haven't had to deal with a ball with that type of velocity or accuracy the whole time. Yeah. So it does change what you do, and you're a fool if you don't prepare for that.
No, for sure. I found him on his IG page.
Forward that page to me when you get a moment.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to read just a couple of the things that he has in his bio. Okay, here it goes right here. First of all, his name is Box Office Brody. All right, they know what they're doing over there. Two-time Florida Elite Heisman winner. Okay. 2020 YNC runner-up. I don't know who beat him out of that. Have to look that up. 3-time Florida Elite Super Bowl champ. And then 2022 Florida Elite X Factor Award winner. So he's racking them up already. Y'all check him out. That's Brody there. I just wanted to shout those guys out.
Yeah, that's
and awesome. The whole team is dominant. So if you come across West Orlando Jags 10U, good luck. All right.
Well, when Brandon was in here, it sounded like the only competition they really face consistently is when they're playing other out-of-state loaded teams.
Yeah.
And what's his name? The Hood News guy.
Yeah.
He was talking how some of those teams will recruit specifically for guys don't even play for him or live nearby, but they'll bring him in for bigger games and tournaments.
Yeah, they do. So, they travel and pick up kids versus like, these other teams, you just have to live in the area, get to practice, get to the games.
Yeah.
They go out and pick these kids up, man.
And while we're on the youth sports, shout out to the Lake Mary Little League team.
Oh, for sure.
They won the national part of the Little League World Series and beat the international opponent to win essentially the World Little League Championship.
Yeah, well, it was Japan, right?
Taipei.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the Asian countries.
Yeah.
I don't want to mispronounce or misrepresent them.
Right.
But yeah, and the guy. I mean, I know. You probably know Danny Feliciano.
Yeah.
He's a fixture in basketball and at Rachel's. But his son was on the team, and that was pretty awesome. I didn't know or have any connection to any of the other kids that I was aware of, but no, that awesome accomplishment for them.
No, seriously, I didn't even know until I saw him at the at East Sport, and he was telling me about they got the kids they're going. And then I started watching.
Got him before the
before the run.
Awesome.
Yeah, before the run, he was telling me they're going to be on like one of the ESPN family channels and this and that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I started seeing it, and I was like, yeah. So I watched a piece of the championship game. Now, that was the first time. Like Florida team made it that far, of course. Like even, advancing through the playoffs. I thought
there was a Popka team many years ago, but maybe I'm mistaken.
Well, yeah, the commentators were saying that was the first time. So, but we've had Florida teams, that knocked on the door, got a little close,
right?
But just hadn't made it to that championship game, and then they actually won it. Yeah,
that's pretty
really
awesome.
Good.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then now you got you have a lot of parents watch that, and they're gonna want to put their sons in baseball.
Still boring as hell for me though.
Yeah. Did any of your sons play baseball?
My oldest son played 1 year when he was like 5 or 6. I did not coach that. At the time, I was coaching everything they did. Mm-hmm. And I didn't coach it. It was insufferably boring. The coach didn't know anything about what he was doing. And I was stuck in the bleachers with all these vapid moms talking about like schools and bullshit, and so it was just a miserable experience that I never wanted to repeat. So basically I said, hey, nobody's playing baseball again. and I'm coaching everything going forward.
You took them away from baseball?
Yeah. It was not.
Are you supposed to do that?
Yeah. I thought it was the right move. Nobody regrets it now.
Nobody regrets it now.
Nah. The funny thing was, like, my favorite part of this might get us in trouble, but hey, what the hell? This is an authentic story. So my mom was down, and Bryson was maybe 5 or 6 himself, and she's out in the yard, and she's throwing him the little plastic baseballs, and he's hitting them pretty good. And my mom naively goes, "Oh, you should try baseball, Bryson." And Bryson, without breaking a swing or anything, just goes, "Dad says baseball's gay." And that was it.
I couldn't see myself. I couldn't see myself. Yeah, being. I don't know. I don't have any children, right? So I don't know. I guess if you're really into it, you just have to you have to find a way. But man, it's just a boring sport for me.
Yeah, no. I mean, at the end of the day, if your kid gets into it and they're really passionate about it, you're probably gonna roll with it because you'll be invested and interested. But like if you're at that early phase, nobody's established themselves in a sport when you're 5 or 6, so it's kind of like, hey, we'll just keep moving to the next one.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. But I mean, officially from like a parenting standpoint, I believe in getting your kids involved in stuff. And again, when they're small, like try a bunch of stuff. They'll eventually show you what they want to be or what they want to put their interest in. And then, then you just need to follow that and support it. But, let them try baseball, let them try basketball, soccer, football, whatever. And they'll show you what they want to do.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right. Now, going from youth football to college football, okay? Let's move it along here. Let's go to where you at here. So Florida State played in week 0 against Georgia Tech out of the country. All right. So I
didn't recall anybody showing up for that game.
As a Florida State alum and a Maine maniac football fan that you are, just sort of go through what your feelings was about the game, and then moving forward for the season. Like, where are the fans at? What are you feeling? What's going on?
After the first drive, the game was a complete embarrassment. The team, that was one of the most disheartening losses that we've had in many, many years. I had a sense of expectation. I thought we'd be a pretty good football team, and the way that we played was absolutely disgusting. We showed absolutely no courage, no violence, no effort, no competitive drive or response at any point in the game. We literally walked through a game and allowed a mediocre team to kind of control the ball, control the tempo of the game, and it was absolutely embarrassing to watch. That team should be embarrassed for themselves because that was fucking unacceptable. And in every phase of the game, the only thing we did well was kick field goals. The field goal kicker kicked 2 good field goals. That's it.
He's going to the league.
I mean, defensively, we let them, soak up the ball for minutes and minutes and minutes. We generated no turnovers. We generated no violent hits. The saddest part of the game, in a lot of respects for me, was the fact that we played penalty-free football and turnover-free football and still lost.
Yeah.
Those are usually things that if you control those categories, you go a long way toward winning. But our general effort level, our response to time and situation and circumstance was non-existent. We had no fucking competitive pulse. And I'm embarrassed for this team, embarrassed to be associated with it. And I don't think the season is going to go well. Because if you're able to produce that type of effort, here's the thing, you're in a game. You're in the game. At the end of the day, you lost by 3 points. What does that mean? That means 1-2 plays decide the whole fucking thing. And you couldn't come up with 1 or 2 plays. You couldn't come up with a sequence of good football.
Or a stop.
You tie the game with here's the problem. We got the ball with, I think, about 13 minutes to go in the game. And we go on this meandering drive to tie the score. And we haven't gotten them off the field quickly all game. And somehow it's a good idea to casually, run the play clock down on this possession. So we take about a 5-6 minute possession, tie the game, and give them 6 minutes. And they proceed to burn the entire 6 minutes.
Yeah, that was
coming
tough,
back
man.
at us. It's unacceptable.
It was like a slow death.
There's nothing tough about it.
Yeah.
You set yourself up by not playing with any fucking urgency on your drive to tie. And you're in this slow-paced, miserable game. You need to create more possessions, more opportunities to do something, and you didn't do it. And then they get the ball, and they start moving it a little bit. Blitz the fucking piss out of these people.
Yeah.
Bring the fucking house with the mother-in-law in it. Let them fucking score.
Yeah.
If that's what it comes to, because we're going to get the ball back.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you are not going to slow death me. Mm-hmm. I will die guns blazing. And we're going to force the issue when we get to around 3 minutes, and we're bringing the fucking house.
I was just going to ask you around what minute mark. So, yeah, about the 3 minute mark is when
3 minutes. Ideally. I mean, when the possession starts, we just tied the game. You're thinking, okay, get these motherfuckers in a 3 and out, get the ball back, and we win.
Yeah.
But you didn't do that. So now you get on 3 minutes. It's they're about midfield. We're going guns blazing. We're emptying the clip.
Yeah.
We're not going to let them take 3 minutes of this clock.
And if they score on
we're either going to tackle. We're going to tackle for loss you, and you're going to punt it back to us, or you're going to fucking throw over the top and score.
And then you get a gift from above with the fumble or the drop, whatever.
Yeah.
And couldn't fall on it.
Well, there was two. There was one at the end of the third quarter that we had legit 2 chances to get it.
Yeah.
And coaching basketball for years on a loose ball, the mantra is first to the floor gets the ball. Mm-hmm. And if you watch that fumble, it was a first to the floor gets the ball. Our 2 jackasses tried to pick it up. And their guy dove.
The offensive lineman,
man. Come on, man. Yeah. Unacceptable. That was just horse shit all around. I'm embarrassed to be associated with the program.
So moving forward for the rest of the season,
season's over.
Is it going to take a couple of wins to
season's over?
Why do you say that though? With the 12,
because you say the 12-man playoff, but what's the pathway to the playoff? You got to win your conference championship, or you got to get real close to that. So right now, we've already lost a conference game. So we have to have shit happen that's not in our control in week 1. I mean, because technically that's week 0.
Yeah.
We've already taken the season out of our hands because there's a scenario where we could win out and still not get in. I mean, fuck, we won everything and didn't get in last time. So, like, I'm not trusting. I mean, that's the whole thing. We come out of this thing, we should have been vengeance-inspired, Count of Monte Cristo, man on fire level vengeance, and we don't have it. So, fuck you. You don't deserve it now. That's where I'm at with it. So, as far as I'm concerned, the season's over. You're just going to go through the motions of playing these games for the fuck of it. Because you took everything out of your own hands before the first week of Labor Day. That's what you accomplished with that shitty effort.
How important is this? I know you're saying, it's over, but like this next game makes it so much important because if you do lose, the guys check out, right? The guys check out.
I saw 85 checked out guys last week. What else are you going to check out?
What else can you do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And who you guys got?
Boston College.
So it should be. Well,
this is what you do to yourself. When you suck, everything becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And so now Boston College looks a whole lot different than they did if we won 35-10.
Right.
It is what it is. You do this to yourself.
Yeah, we'll see if they can bounce back. But like you said, you're just thinking. I'm thinking in my head like, these guys are gonna come out and want to smash these guys to prove last year because the bowl game, I kind of bought into the, we got screwed, so we're just gonna screw you and not play anybody. I bought into that. That makes sense. But the week opener, it's like that was the opportunity there. I know some of the characters changed. You got a different quarterback.
A lot of the players changed. That's all fine, but it's the program.
It's the program.
And the program, you put yourself in this position. You take on the week 0 game. You go overseas, and it's a game that, like, it's the only good game of the weekend.
It really was.
People that have been starving for college football for 8.5 months.
Yeah.
Have a game to watch, and it's your game.
Yeah, I'm sure the ratings were really good.
And you shit the bed.
Yeah.
Like that's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been few times I've been more disgusted with a Florida State team than this week.
Mm. Even the down years.
What
was the coach name that all y'all hated?
Willie was terrible. No, it was. I mean, there were some shitty. There's been a lot of shitty. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I mean, Lamar Jackson, the 63-20 at Louisville.
That was the
week after Muhammad Ali died. That was kind of ridiculous. There's been several bad games, but again, this is exceptionally bad because you felt like you're there. Like you felt like we should be in the mix. Most team are, people projecting us to win the conference, be in the playoff, probably top 4 in the playoff, and you put that effort forth. I mean, that's unacceptable, man.
Yeah, that defense is going to have to find a pulse. They were supposed to be the best on the best unit on the team.
Yeah.
Right now it's special teams, but defense was supposed to be
no, let's not say especially like the field goal kicker.
The field goal kicker.
That's the only man who covered himself in glory.
Yeah.
Everybody else, like across the board, sucked.
Yeah. All right, Dan. Well, we'll see what you guys look like in week 2. And the rest of college football is moving along to week 1. And we have this Gators and Miami game coming up. Now, of course, I'm a diehard Gators fan, okay? And they're going to be going against the Miami Hurricanes, 3:30 Saturday. Now, we talked about all 3 of these teams, over the course of the offseason here. And, my thing, and I think the last thing I remember you saying about this game is sort of not that important, as far as if win or lose. If you win, you're beating a bad coach Miami team, and if you lose, it's kind of just more of the same. As far as the Gators, then we roll into an incredibly tough schedule. But man, my feelings are just so much different than that because you know, all the most pundits are saying that these two teams are similar. You know, as far as the talent wise, things like that, it's very similar. So these are two similar teams, and as much as you say Mario's a bad coach, shit, we don't have any evidence that says our coach is any better as far as coaching on the field. You know what I mean? We don't have any evidence of that. Matter of fact, the way the Gators, the way the fan base feels, is that his play calling is god awful. They just wish we would have brought in offensive coordinator this year.
Why I say this, like any hype around this game is not really important, is because both of these teams are similarly flawed. You have in Napier a coach that a lot of people are skeptical about. He hasn't won over the Gator fan base. You have Cristobal, who just is a bad coach. You have two teams that just because they're Florida teams, because whatever, there's a certain expectation or there's a certain excitement of possibility. And, you know, like this game could very easily look by week 3 or 4 as a pair of retards wrestling in mud. Like, these teams both suck, they're not going to do anything, and we spend a lot of time getting excited about a game that doesn't mean anything. That's how I look at the game, because I don't think either one of these teams is going to be, you know, in the mix in November at any level.
Yes and no, because both teams, that may be the realization, that may be the most realistic outcome. But both teams have high expectations in various. Like Miami feels like they can win the ACC this year.
Right.
They feel like they're supposed to win the ACC this year. And they look at Florida State losing in week 0.
For 23 years.
Yeah, but this is the best recruiting class that they've had, and they've recruited well the past 3 years. They have a high level quarterback transfer that they feel great about. He had a great camp. You know what I mean? So all of those stars are supposed to align and win the ACC this year. They haven't had that in the past. Maybe the only thing that could potentially hold them back is a bad coach, and we'll see how that plays out. Florida, on a similar level, we don't feel that we can win the SEC, but that's only because of a god-awful, worst of all time schedule. But we're still looking at, okay, how does this look? And because of the tough schedule, this is a must win. Because if you lose this game, then we check out for the rest of the season because we know what's coming. You can't beat Miami. What the fuck else can you beat on this schedule besides a Samford, which whatever they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rollins College level, I don't know. Outside of that, who can you beat? So you have to win this game, and it has to look right because again, we've had several really good recruiting classes, okay, and you're gonna try it out, this an offense, a defense that was just the defensive coordinator that we had last year, Pink. He's working at Home Depot now.
As he should.
Last year.
Yeah.
A Division I Florida Gators defensive coordinator is working at fucking Home Depot right now. You can Google it and look it up. That's come on, man. You're not even a manager at Home Depot. Come on, man. That's there's so much riding on just the way it looks. So yeah, maybe if you tell me win or loss, it doesn't matter, but it has to look fucking right.
You know who else worked at Home Depot?
Who's that?
Denzel Washington in The Equalizer. he still had a little gas in the tank.
Yeah, he still had something left in the tank for sure.
So, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, I mean, everything you say is correct, and then everything I say I think is actually correct as well. You know?
Yeah.
If you look at it from the perspective of those teams, yeah, we have to win game 1. We get a certain momentum. It makes all the other challenges a little bit more manageable after. A loss in game 1, that's where Florida State is. Everything now becomes a lot more difficult, and you don't have any gimmies left. And, you're just fighting uphill the rest of the way. I mean, the only benefit of this is that it's not a conference game for either team.
Yeah.
So there's no direct impact on, your conference progression.
Yeah. Yeah. But if, pipe dream for sure. But with Miami being ranked, if Florida's going to have an outside chance of making this 12-team playoff, beating a ranked team, and especially if Miami goes on to do well in the ACC, that'll bode well for us.
For sure. I mean, it becomes a quality win.
Yeah.
If you beat a team that's the thing. The reality is when you beat some of these teams, you want them to kind of do well after that because it makes it look like you've had a stronger schedule, and it gives you a little bit more juice with the committee and these other entities that decide things.
Even the opposite, because if Georgia Tech goes along and kind of tanks the rest of the season, like even if you guys run the table, it's gonna be like, damn, you lost to a fucking, 4-9 Georgia Tech team.
It's a fine line though, because if they do too well, they may keep you out of a conference title game.
That too. Yeah. I know. It's kind of a screw. Yeah.
But that's why. Here's the thing. Don't lose any fucking games.
Yeah.
Like then you have to worry about AS.
Yeah. Not especially the ones you're supposed to win.
Yeah, you're supposed to win them all. That's why they play them.
Yeah.
You're not playing games to lose.
You're not. But I'm not going to expect the Gators to go into Georgia and
they don't have to go into Georgia. They're going to Jacksonville.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They don't have to go between the hedges. They just got to go to Duval.
Duval. All right. Well, we'll see how this game goes. 3:30. I'll get home in time, man. 12 o'clock is our rec league basketball game.
Yeah.
I may even watch the next game after that, and then I got to get out of there.
Get yourself all set up for the big one.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't watch big games out. I have to be home.
I know. That's so weak, man. So weak. I'm not watching it all, though. I have no interest in college football at this point.
You're not going to watch the game?
No.
Our game?
No. I'm sure there'll be a soccer match on. I can watch it. I'm serious.
That's terrible, man.
No, I literally have no interest.
Show some Floridian roots.
No,
you Connecticut.
I don't care. I'm done with college football this year.
You don't want to see. You have to play Miami later. You don't want to see how they look.
No.
You don't want to project.
No, I don't care. If we won, I would be very invested. Not now.
Not now.
No.
Oh man, you know what? I this is the first time ever I missed the topics thing.
Oh, you did?
Well, it doesn't matter. They'll catch up. They'll know what we're talking about when we talk about it.
Unmistakable.
Yeah. I was so excited, man, to talk about Brody.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I had to get to it.
When was the game? Saturday or Sunday?
That was Saturday.
Saturday. Okay.
Yeah. That was Saturday. I'll go back and watch when the playoffs start. I'll let you know.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind. Where did they play at?
That game was all of their home games are at Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge, okay.
Oak Ridge High School. Yeah. Which is another reason why I saw some good-looking single mamas. That's a good area for that.
A lot of Haitians down there.
Yeah. I don't know if I saw any that day.
Okay.
But
perhaps another day.
There is a lot of Haitians in that Oak Ridge area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a couple.
All right.
Yeah.
You invite them to meet you at the game?
No.
Let's put it out there.
Yeah. My latest one is dating an African now.
Really?
Yeah, I probably said too much already. All right.
Wait, you're dating an African?
No, I'm not. I am African.
There's an African in the scenario.
You're still on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pig, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We're available on all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Really quick here before we move along the show, don't forget about Royal13thebrand.com. Again, that is Royal13thebrand.com. Get fresh. Use promo code Bubba Pink. All right. Let's go here. We'll get into some basketball. Some light, fun stuff here. Did you see LeBron was on?
I really like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was outside at they're calling it it's the shop, but it's like the shop outside or something or whatever. It's the interview, and they had a crowd and everything.
Oh, they had a live audience.
Yeah, it was like a live audience type of thing, and he was saying how, or at least that's how it sounded anyhow.
Yeah.
You know, what is he going to call you dad going up and down the court? And he was like, no, he has to call me 2-3 or Bron. Goat if he wants to.
No, I thought that was a fun little moment. I like that.
Yeah.
But it does have that thing, I mean, I almost felt very authentically that you almost kind of have to have that discussion.
Yeah.
Between the two of them.
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to do this? And my curious thing is, at any point during the course of the year, does Bronny slip? On that. Like, just heat of the moment instinctively.
He has to.
Yeah, I would think he would at some point.
He has to.
Yeah, that's fun though. That's fun. He was posting a bunch of videos working out with like Darius Garland and Jordan Clarkson and the great Talon Horton.
I'm not a big
Tucker.
I'm not a big Darius Garland guy like a lot of people are.
He's pretty good. I mean, you know, he's good. I mean, he's not like, to me, he's not an upper tier guy, but he's definitely good.
I don't think you can win with him.
No.
He's a small guard, and he doesn't do anything like really good or great. Like, and in the playoffs, he always shows his deficiencies, and I don't know. He's just in the way. He's in the way of Donovan Mitchell. They need a defensive guard there. Like, they need a defensive guard that can distribute the ball as well in that spot instead of Darius Garland. Right. Darius Garland is really like a spot-up point guard.
Yeah. No, I'm not a Donovan Mitchell guy either, though. I don't like either one of those guys on a high level. That's why I don't have any faith in Cleveland in general.
Yeah, it's a weird team.
Yeah, but
it's a weird team. But when I saw this quote here, it made me think. Well, we LeBron really believes that Bronny's going to get some real minutes. If that's, you know what I mean? Like, if that's where his mind is at, coming up and down the court, he has to call me Bron or go to 2-3. Like, and the rest of us are projecting like, Bronny's probably should spend most of the season in the G League. You know what I mean? And so that was interesting from that standpoint.
Yeah, that was actually. I didn't read into it like that, but I think you're right. I mean, it certainly suggests he anticipates they'll be sharing the floor and so forth. So, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting thing. And we touched on it last week. I mean, organically, does he develop and warrant getting some minutes with the Lakers? I expect, like you do, that most of his time will probably be in the G League to get confidence and do stuff. But I expect he will. I would be shocked if he went the entire season not playing some games for the Lakers. I just think it's going to happen. The season's long. There's just too many opportunities where guys are, injured or whatever, that you can bring him up and give him a run out and see what happens. But, to his credit, I mean, is the development going to be there? I mean, I hope it is. It's just, I just don't he seems so passive as a player, and that drives me crazy. He's just a passenger in the game, and that's why his stats are so low. And it's not really so much to me about the skill set. It's about the willingness to get involved in the game.
It is, and the G League is such a open forum for the better guys to really, like, for example, Paul Reed won G League MVP. And he was averaging over 20 and 12 rebounds. He took about 5 3-pointers a game. Paul Reed, he looks like fucking Shaq shooting a three. Like, you know what I mean? But he was one of the better players in the league. So he got to do whatever he wanted to do. And, so and if Bronny goes in there and looks passive or is attempting 5 or 6 shot attempts a game, I don't know how you can call him up. How is that going to look? If he's not performing well in the G League.
I've been around and seen guys who have been in the G League and kind of know what that looks like. There's a lot of talent in that league.
It is,
but I do think it's a league that like it's a me league. Like guys are trying to show out.
I get me.
For
Yeah, so I can
themselves.
get called up.
So they get called up, and so they're gonna insert themselves in the game. They're gonna play aggressively and to a degree probably selfishly to have the stats, to have an impact, so that whatever the teams are reporting. Oh yeah, Paul Reed's playing great, and so it's. You have to be like an alpha yourself to match that level to get your share of the ball, your share of the shots, your involvement in the game. And I think I just haven't seen any evidence that that's a part of Bronny's makeup or his character. He's just, for me, too reserved and too laid back. And when you watch him play, that's, he'll just slide to a corner and be off the ball and not really look to do anything. And again, the reputation as a defender is probably overstated. And the one thing, like to me, like really good defenders, really good aggressive guys, they get just involved in stuff. Whether it's grabbing a rebound, loose ball, steal, deflection. Like you watch and you just don't see that in any consistent basis. Yeah, and it's kind of having a nose for the ball. Like Spoelstra, he talks about like energy attracts the ball. And I just think he's such a low-energy player that it's almost going to be worse in the G League for me because of the mentality of those guys trying to show out and get the call up.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll definitely see how that goes there. I'm gonna pay attention to some of these other workouts too. I don't know. I'm just curious to see who else he works out with and how that plays out. Like that's a little interesting cast of characters there. Garland, Taylor Horton, Tucker, and who else was it you said? Somebody, one more player.
Jordan Clarkson was
Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
Jordan Clarkson, he's a really good six man. He gets buckets coming off as that six man. I don't know if he's still in Utah or not.
Yeah, that's two very established NBA guys.
Yeah, Tucker. Yeah,
Garland.
Garland.
Tucker's always been like to me a overhyped guy. Like, I never got the deal with him.
That started in L.A. Right?
Yeah, but I mean Darius Garland is a good player.
He's very established.
Starter.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Clarkson is now for several years been a very reliable bench scoring player in this league, and he can get buckets almost anywhere.
Yeah.
So you're working out with some good guys. Felt a little calculated that the video comes out. It's kind of showing. Here I am with these guys, and we're working out together, and I'm not necessarily getting demolished. Like, I mean, it establishes, like a.
It does.
You start to feel like it looks right.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. All right. They're starting a Netflix show similar to quarterback, similar to wide receiver, but they're going to move over here to the NBA lane. Okay, gearing up for a game-changing, all-access NBA docuseries, and it is from the 2023-24 season. Okay, so it's already been shot and everything. So it's going to get released. All right, now a couple of other notes from that. Let me see here. I know that Obama's production crew has something to do with this. They helped produce this. Peyton Manning's production team is involved, and then of course LeBron and Maverick and Mav. So 3 different production teams. Garrett, help pitching in here and getting this produced. And then here go the characters: LeBron, Tatum, Anthony Edwards, Jimmy Butler, and Sabonis. Okay, Jimmy Butler had a very injury-riddled season last year, but he's Jameis Winston-like, a little bit below type character. Like Jimmy Butler is interesting, man. Like he does all of this weird shit.
He's very interesting, but I wouldn't equate him with Jameis. Jameis is like
he's something of his own.
Jameis is like his own category.
Yeah, he's on his own thing.
Jimmy Butler to me he's very eclectic off the court.
Yeah.
Like he'll express interest in just random different things. He has a curiosity about him that makes him sort of interesting.
Yeah.
But he always kind of comes to it like with a certain level of kind of cool that Jameis kind of doesn't have. Jameis is just out there. Wacky, lovable, out there. Yeah. But yeah, Jimmy comes at it in a different place. So I mean, like you got the King LeBron, you've got Jason Tatum, peak of his career, and what turns out to be a championship season, Anthony Edwards, a young star in a breakout season. Jimmy Butler suffering through an injury-riddled and ultimately disappointing season with the Heat. And then you got Sabonis, who's kind of the outlier. Like, I don't know that he's a particularly funny or interesting guy. Sacramento's a small market team. Arguably, Fox is the better player, bigger star on that team. But Sabonis, we'll see what he has to offer. But you got to think, I think, in context. You're going into this show with them being the 3 seed in the prior year, losing a 7-game series to the Warriors. You're probably expecting a better season out of the Kings in some level than they delivered. So that'll probably affect, kind of his storyline too.
Yeah, but that's like Sabonis is like the least European. Like if you added him just to get that European piece or whatever, like he's just the last one I would come to. Like give me Luka, give me Denver Nuggets, fucking.
I guarantee you, Luka has no interest in doing
Yeah, I
this.
know, and neither Jokic from Denver.
Jokic just because he literally doesn't care.
Yeah.
Luka probably because he drinks too much beer and just does too much random shit he doesn't want people to know. Honestly, I think that's part of it.
Giannis. Doesn't have to be white Europeans. Give me, Sabonis just literally the last. Give me Shea. Give me, But we'll see. If he has to be an interesting character for it to work. All right.
Yeah,
if he's not, then he's just literally a waste of space.
Yeah.
All right, because I'm not interested in the Kings or Sabonis or anybody from over there. All right, Fox didn't even re-sign his rookie extension, so he's out of there next year.
Dead story,
yeah. But do you have high hopes for this?
For sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, the first 4 guys are gonna be very interesting.
Yeah.
And I like the basic premise and format of the show.
I do. I think receivers, it was just the wrong
receivers has been disappointing
character group.
But the other one that I watched that's right and connected with this is was Sprinter, and I watched it. Going into the Olympics, so I kind of had like a lot of I had a lot of insight on Noah Lyles before the games began, and a couple of the other characters in that show. So I enjoyed that a lot. They're doing another season of that, which they're shooting now. And so I think that I like this concept. I don't know how closely connected it is, but there's another series focused on Formula One racing called F1 Drive to Survive that kind of predated all of these. And I suspect that that's probably served as an inspiration for some of these.
Okay.
And it's just kind of the ability to like kind of go in behind the scenes. What does it really look and feel like to be, in these various sports? What does your day-to-day existence look like? What does it feel like? And that's what you get, that, kind of backsane access to a lot of these things that are interesting. And they always do kind of like the funky family stuff, like, and in the receivers one, there was the one with Devontae Adams hosting the birthday party for his daughter at the house, and like, half the people from the daycare like don't really know who he is, and like whatever, it's kind of funny,
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we'll catch that when it comes out. I don't even know what the release date is. Let me see.
I thought it was October something.
October?
Yeah.
Damn, the next NBA season I'll be here.
Well, no, what they want to do is this builds you into the season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you'll start watching it, as they kind of get to preseason or whatever, and it'll probably lead you right up into the first couple weeks of the season.
Let's see here.
Because think about this, for true NBA fans, like once the season starts, you're watching games every night.
Yeah.
You're not watching this show. So put this in the beginning before the season starts, preseason, and then you're going to, it'll take you right up to the point where we're, have games every night to watch.
Yeah. October 9th.
Okay. I was off by a day. Shoot me.
You said the 8th or 10th?
I said the 8th.
Oh. Yeah. I didn't even hear you say that.
Yeah. But,
let me see. Opening night. That would be... Oh, no, that's... Why would I want to know the damn G League over there?
Because we were talking about the G League with Bronny.
Okay, October 22nd.
Yeah. Yeah, so this will take you right into the season.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we'll be all ears for that one. All right, let's move it along here. Once again, you're still on the bench podcast. Let's see here. Let's go to some NFL. All right. So we're still on these player polls and rankings and all of that. And Josh Allen voted NFL's most overrated quarterback by fellow players. All right. And also he was voted number 1 for trash talking.
Number 1 for
yeah. Josh Allen.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah. What do you feel about that? You think he should be most overrated?
Most overrated's tough, but here's the thing, and here's why I think it kind of works. Most people would rank him somewhere in the 2 to 5 range.
Yeah.
So he's ranked highly. And when you're ranked highly, you have a chance to be overrated. Mm-hmm. Where I would say if you look at a player who catches a lot of heat like Dak Prescott, not many people have him in their top 5. He's more of like a maybe 8 to 15 guy. And so like, okay, are you really overrated if people have some criticisms of you at 8 to 15?
Right.
You know, and I think Josh Allen, you kind of go to that thing where, you know, he's had a little bit of playoff success, but not getting over the top. Now his best receiving weapons leave. Like, again, you asked the question, like, why would great receiving weapons leave a great quarterback in his prime? That doesn't add up. That says something, you know, that you're not bending over backwards to continue to play with a top 5 quarterback in the league. You know, you're going elsewhere. So I think that's pretty telling. And I think that, you know, we're going to learn a lot about him this year because without the receivers, without, you know, Diggs, without Gabe Davis, I think he's going to have to carry more on his own. Does he keep this team at a good competitive playoff team or does it drop? Because I think more than ever it's on him.
Yeah.
So this is really a put up or shut up season for him. And, you know, hey, if he uses this as motivation, I like this. Josh Allen's Paul George. I don't disagree.
Josh Allen is Paul George.
Talented guy. Everybody kind of likes what he does. He does a bunch of different things. But at the end of the day, it doesn't add up to something elite and dangerous.
Yeah. Overall, that's decent. But Paul George has had some awful moments in the postseason. He's like a baby James Harden. Like, he really is a different player in the postseason. Josh Allen has had some incredible moments in the playoffs. Just come up short with absolutely not his fault. We can find a better one than Paul George.
But realistically, that Chiefs loss, that put him in the top 5.
Yeah.
That performance. And again, if you take that singular game out, I don't think he's consensus top 5. I think he's 4 to 8.
Yeah.
And I think that game, because you felt it. You're like, he's going toe-to-toe with the best dude in the world, and if he gets the ball last, he's winning it, and we all know it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that was the thing. That put him on the map.
Now, tied for second was Jalen Hurts and Tua. Now, Tua would have been my first pick, whether I'm just naming most overrated or who I think they would have said overrated.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, your guy from the Chargers was not on there.
Yeah.
You know, people they just love him, man. The players love him. The media loves him. He's just a beloved guy.
Everybody except me.
Herbert.
Yeah. No, but to me, too, I do think he has legitimate detractors, and that's why I don't think he's that highly rated. Like, when he started last year, he was playing at like a top 5 level, but it dropped off pretty badly. And to me, he was kind of exposed for some limitations that he has. And I think that, you know, to me, that's by the end of the year, I wasn't thinking he was anywhere near the top 5, and therefore he's probably properly rated. And then Jalen Hurts, I have no idea where that guy is. No, I don't. You saw a great run and great play in the Super Bowl and the loss to the Chiefs, but last year was very uneven. He has the reputation as the solid guy of character, quiet leader, whatever. But sometimes, like late in the year, he looked kind of lost.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have any answers. There just wasn't a lot going on there. And then this, off season, we've heard a lot about friction between him and Sirianni.
They say that's what caused the bad season last year.
Right. And so, and Sirianni's still there. Now, he may have given up some control of the offense, but I don't think that that's, going to be complete because he's still the head guy and it still goes to him if it all goes to shit. So I think, he's in a very interesting place to see how he plays this year. And arguably, he has great weapons.
Yeah. They brought in Saquon.
And he's got Devontae, and then they bring in Saquon. Like, you don't have a lot of excuses.
Yeah.
And low-key, though, is a couple people that seem pretty knowledgeable. They're saying, like, watch out for the loss of Kelsey.
Yeah.
Because of all the line calls and blocking schemes he called. And now that'll fall more on Hurts. And if he kind of falters in that area, he could look pretty damn bad.
Well, there was already a coordinator, a defensive coordinator that came out yesterday and was basically, he said the book is out on Jalen Hurts and says that he really struggles versus a all-out blitz, like. When there's one more blitzer than there's a blocker.
Yeah.
And then when they were said on ESPN, they showed the advanced stats and he really struggles against that. And they said last year was just awful when it came down to that.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing about the NFL is that it may take, a year or two, but when they get a book on you, there is an adjustment period. And some quarterbacks, They never, find that counter. Yeah. And then some, like Mahomes, went a stretch where, I don't know if you remember, but they kept that Tampa cover 2 defense. And it was about maybe, 2 to 3 years ago. And it was during Tyreek and right after Tyreek because he would like to throw a lot of these longer passes.
Right.
And when going against the Tampa 2, that's just not a good look. And he would never take the underneath, the Tom Brady approach. We're just going to 5 yards this out.
Yeah. They made
and that
a
was
decision.
the book on
We're
Mahomes.
not going to give up the long ball. We're going to play some Tampa 2 and make you make these throws. And there was a period where he wasn't comfortable, didn't want to make those throws, didn't make them well. And
he turned in the season. Like in the season, he was able to catch that and turn that around, which is very rare. And so we'll see if Jalen Hurts can, after a whole offseason, if he can perform better against that defense.
Two things I want to say that. Now, Jalen Hurts at Alabama was a horrible quarterback in the passing game. He was bad.
Yeah.
And he got to be to what he is. And so that I know that guy can work, and I know that he's humble enough to learn. So I if there's a way to do it, I think he'll make the effort. But here's the second tier of this. And I think that here's where coaching and coaching dynamics are very important. Like, you got to have a coach that works with you, to because it's not just you. Like, you may have bad instincts or bad reactions to that type of blitz, but with an offensive scheme and certain reads and routes and options that they can give you, you can start to work through that.
Right.
And have like quicker options. And we know what we're going to do against this or that. And we have a clear plan. And so, hopefully he's getting the offensive coaching that's going to be kind of creative enough and adaptable enough to address his weaknesses and help him work through it, rather than kind of like hanging him out to dry. Oh, you're just not making the read we want to do. Sometimes you got to tailor things to the guy you have.
Yeah.
And for his sake, I hope that they have that. But it will be interesting, and it's got to be like a symbiotic thing where he's growing and learning, and the coaching staff is developing the offense around that to address it.
Yeah, no, it really does. It really does. And in that division, the NFC East, you got the Cowboys and all of their going on. The Giants, just who've been a shit show for a long time, and Washington with a rookie quarterback. So, I mean, Hurts, this is the year for them to turn it around. Now, do you see what with the Giants, I said from the beginning, when they gave him the contract, Daniel Jones, the money, that was just a terrible decision.
Yeah.
The NFL, man, there are fans and there are some media members, they're so afraid to go without. You know, like, well, what are we going to do if we don't pay him? You know, Daniel Jones, the Dak Prescott, even down to the Tua or whatever. They're so afraid that the first thing they say is, well, if we don't pay him, then what are we going to do?
Right.
You know what I mean? I think it's so beneficial. So if you know this guy is not the guy, quarterbacks, there is no way around it. You have to pay that guy, the next guy, the top money. That's just it. Unless you have a veteran, guy who's been on 1,000 teams already.
Yeah.
Get rid of that guy and start over.
Well, what you're saying. Like you cannot lock quarterbacks down out of fear. You can't do it. Yeah. And that's what too many teams do. They have a halfway decent guy or a guy that, even if it's a guy they know he's not good, but they've invested a certain amount of draft capital or financial capital up to this point or development up to this point, they're afraid to let that go. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you need to let it go. And to be honest, like the Bears did it. Yeah. They realized they did. They felt that Caleb is better than Fields is going to be, and they made that move. And it's to their credit because the other side of this, they get another 4 or 5 years of rookie scale pay at the quarterback position, whereas they would have had to make a decision on Fields to pay him. And so credit to the Bears. Even if Fields ends up being a pretty good quarterback, and even if Caleb does not achieve all that maybe the hype would indicate, it was still a sound football decision. But the Giants go ahead and throw money at a guy who's accomplished nothing in the league, who's just been a placeholder. And now they're kind of stuck with this guy for a period of time. And the franchise ceiling, like, literally just dropped to the floor. Yeah. Because there's nothing going on there. Nobody's worried about the fucking Giants. You invest your top pick in a very talented wide receiver, and he's going to struggle because of the guy throwing in the ball. Yeah, and I still think that Hyatt's probably a pretty good player. They drafted him out of Tennessee, a speed receiver, downfield threat, almost not involved in any way. Yeah. Last year, and again, it's because of what you have at quarterback. You don't have a real player.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. And the NFL is set up to where it's conducive that way. The NBA. You lose, you got to go into this fucking the draft lottery. Maybe you get lucky and get the number 1 or number 2 pick, or maybe you lose 1,000 games and get the number 8 pick. You know what I mean? It's tricky like that. NFL, 0 wins, 1 win, that determines the number 1 pick, the number 2 pick, number 3 pick. You know what I mean? It's like you can turn things around quickly. Especially with the quarterbacks coming in, they're more ready to play.
I was going to say, the other side of this equation, you have to look at what's coming into the league every year. And we're at a point now where there's, probably 5, 6, first-round level talent guys coming into the league every year, who appear to have what it takes. Granted, they don't all work out, but there are available people to take every year in the draft at the quarterback spot in the first round. And again, because there's 5 or 6 of them, you could still get a good one in the teens, sometimes in the 20s. Yeah. Because there's just enough, and not every team needs a quarterback. So, to sit there and feel like you got to overpay a mediocre or sub-level performer is absurd. Like, nobody cares about Daniel Jones. He can be recycled like a plastic bottle.
And will be. Yeah. Right after this Giants, whatever that you want to call it, career, he will be passed around, just like the rest of those guys. Just like Blaine Gabbert and whoever else you want to name that's in that boat. Yeah. All right. And he'll be a reserve backup for as long as his days remain on this earth. All right.
Hopefully it won't last as a backup that long. Unless we're going to have an early James Dean death.
Well, with modern medicine these days, who knows? Another quick funny thing I wanted to get to was this Drake thing, right? So Drake released like 3 songs last week, right? And he also released a video a couple of days ago of a throwback old video of him and Kendrick collabing on this song, but it was Drake and his producer in the studio talking about the song, talking about who to get on the song and how Kendrick would do good and this, and that. And his point to doing that was just about how the relationship went from there to there and how, you know, a guy could just grow so envious for the only reason of Drake being number one. Is like basically Drake would say, I did nothing to this guy, and all of a sudden he just became envious and
like
full of hate.
I was literally ready to work with him.
Yeah.
And he became so envious of my success, he decided to
start dissing and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then on one of the songs, basically he just alluded to like it's for him it's not over. And I wanted to take it from the standpoint of like, you know, when you know, really hate somebody or grow hate for someone, you know, should you just end it or is it just never over? You know what I mean? Did you just never like that guy?
What do you mean by end it?
Huh?
What do you mean by end it?
Just like never
Like
mention the guy again, fully squash it, just go along with your life. You know?
I think there's two things though. Like you're saying, like, if you really hate somebody, there's real animosity there. You know, you're either just gonna like stay hating him forever.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't have to make the songs about it or whatever, but you could just I don't like that motherfucker, or you kind of do the weird little thing where you sort of, you know, make peace and bury hatchets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, those are the two lanes that you end up in.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, honestly, if these two guys make a freaking song together, that's some of the corniest shit ever.
No, that'll never happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, we're way past that. I know some people were thinking like, oh, this is just a ploy and they're going to make songs and an album together. That 1,000% would never happen. But what also, because I told Chris, our editor, yesterday, what I think is, I don't think Drake will make full songs from here on out. You know, especially I think Kendrick is just done altogether. I think he's gonna take his public W, because from the public standpoint, he won. I think he'll just go out.
You're saying Kendrick's not gonna make any more diss
ever,
songs on
no
Drake?
matter what.
Okay.
But for Drake, I think he'll say something about Kendrick until the day he dies on various different songs.
Okay.
And like he's just never going to let that go.
So that would make him the chick in the relationship.
Maybe
it would.
You think so?
Well, if what you're saying, that's chick behavior.
Is it?
Hell yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Anything that you have ever said can and will be used against you.
What do you mean?
Chicks will hold on to anything forever.
No, but he's not holding on to.
If he keeps
a relationship, he's holding on.
No, it's not a relationship they're holding on to. They're ready to be vindictive against you at any moment if it serves them, and they'll stay that way the rest of their life.
Vindictive, but that's not what he's doing.
No,
it's like it's because
I'm saying this. Kendrick, like he'll say, in his mind, he could say, "I took on the biggest name in hip hop, and I gave him a hard L. I don't need to keep doing this. I don't need to battle anybody else because I did that. I can just go make the music I want to make." And I think he can do that. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're saying that Drake's kind of for the rest of his career always kind of maybe, you know, take a small shot.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's that little petty women stuff for me.
Nah, I don't think so, man. I think that's just like, it's just normal hip hop procedure.
Really?
Yeah. Because a lot of artists,
I don't respect it though.
A lot of artists do that. I know, like Jay-Z is probably the king of that. Like even, you know, whatever it is, 30 years later, like he'll still release whenever Nas releases just to fucking say fuck you, Nas. You know what I mean? Like he does little stuff like that. All like literally what was it? Just 2 years ago he did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's cool, and I think it's probably something I would do.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I really do, because it's just the extra like FU, like, you know what I mean?
But it's
and always
FU when you lost.
And it's, but in his mind, because so like on IG he posted what was that? Rasheed Wallace. Damn, I hope I got that right. I think it was like Rasheed Wallace. It was a quote that he had about game 2 in the finals or something, and he was saying how like it was like a speech, like we're gonna win this and that. Like for Drake, it's not a I lost. For Drake, is like this is still active. We're still going. Like it's just another round. You know what I mean? It's open ended. So it's like who says it's over? Like I'm like we're still going. You know what I mean? That's because in the hip hop beefs, there is no fourth quarter. There's no indication that it's over. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Yeah. So in his mind, that's like in his mind, he's just going to the second quarter with this.
There definitely felt a certain finality to it.
I mean, from anybody's perspective, I guess you could say that, but in his mind, it's probably not. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, people can be delusional. I mean, you can't stop them from being that. I don't know. I don't. Yeah. To me, it seems. I mean, I understand what you're saying. It just seems like a weird move.
Yeah.
I mean, if you clearly won and then you want to stay petty, that makes more sense to me. But when you took the loss to stay petty, just doesn't make sense to me.
Is it staying petty though?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, because you're just kind of chirping. You're not coming direct anymore. You're just kind of chirping, and kind of halfway in the comfort that he's probably not going to address this again.
You saying from Kendrick's side?
Kendrick's standpoint.
Yeah.
Because can he do much more than what he did?
Kendrick?
Yeah.
I don't know. Both of these guys are incredible artists. They probably. I mean, I'm sure they could. Yeah, I'm sure they could. There's
that's gonna capture the public fans.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know that they can.
No, they can for sure. Because I mean, Kendrick, both of them stopped short. So Kendrick still had a game plan. He had he was going to get like features of people and put them on to talk about Drake and things like that. Yeah. And then there's a rumor that Drake has the video of him setting Kendrick up for that. So I don't know what can be done, but I do know these are two incredible artists. They could capture the audience like that tomorrow with something else if they were to engage either one. And I think that's what Drake is just counting on. If I do drop something, I know I can capture the audience. All right, and I think he's just, in the layup line, getting people to see like, hey, there goes Drake. He's in the layup line. The game is it's a game about to happen again.
Okay,
I think that's what's going on. So, but who knows?
I could see that as his strategy.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe he doesn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's just a speculation of mine. Yeah, for sure. Now, this is going to be a short show, man, because we didn't have much. It's not a ton going on.
You have any hot topics or anything? Or
no, that was it, man. It's not a ton going on in the world.
Nah, it's a very slow world right now.
Yeah. You got any fantasy football strategies? We got a couple drafts coming up, man.
Yeah, I'm not well prepared. I'll be honest. Honestly, I mean, every draft kind of plays out the same thing. I kind of put a premium on the quarterbacks above what a lot of people do, and then I usually reach a point by about the 6th or 7th round where I'm just looking for people that most people aren't looking for.
What quarterback are you going to be targeting early this year?
Pat.
Is it always Pat?
Yeah.
Yeah?
There's nobody else.
Now, last year, Pat had a down year for fantasy-wise, especially in that, early on in the season.
But my view on the quarterback is that, like, at the end of the day, like, a bad Pat year is still better than most people. And, like, knock on wood, he's been remarkably healthy. And versus taking my draft capital in the first round and putting in a running back. Or even a receiver. I mean, they probably have a better health record overall. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense to put that high a pick in players that are more likely to be injured.
There's so much, like so much noise around Anthony Richardson. It blows my mind. And that's my guy. I fucking was begging for them to put him on the field at Florida for some unforeseen reason. We had to beg to get him on the field. Yeah. But like he's like a quarterback 3, quarterback 4, which is nuts to me.
Yeah,
it's nuts. I know he can run and pass, and he's a fucking physical freak of nature.
Yeah.
But I don't ever see him playing a full season. I don't ever see him.
That's the funny thing of like with the physical freak of nature, because the reality is his health record's not great.
Yeah.
And so, like, yes, I mean, when healthy, there's the running, there's the strength, there's the arm, there's all these attributes. But if it's not healthy for 16, 17 games, whatever we're playing this year, it doesn't matter.
It just doesn't. You know? And on top of that, I still think he'll have a lot of up and down. Like that, yeah, there'll be some weeks where he does really well, throws for a couple of touchdowns, run for a couple of touchdowns, maybe 4 total touchdowns, and the yards are looking good.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some weeks as well, just because he hasn't played that much football
what did he get
in
like
college.
3 games last year? Or 2?
Yeah.
Like 2 to 3 games.
And similar at Florida.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like when you look at the upside, like a player with his skill set, he could easily have 4 touchdown day, throw 2, run 2 in, like whatever. It could happen very easily for him. A little bit like Jalen Hurts had, like with the push season.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, yeah, he throws 2 touchdowns, but he also got these 2 1-yard.
Yeah. That was a great year for him.
Richardson could get that easily, just as strong and powerful as he is. And so, yeah, I agree with you. But again, the consistency, the limited amount of time that he played, they have the good running back, but they don't have
Jonathan Taylor.
I don't think they have great receiving core. They're not terrible.
Solid, yeah.
Yeah, solid. But it's not some
star-studded group.
And it's like, so there's a lot out there to figure out. So I would be skeptical. He's not a guy that I'm looking to draft super high.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't in my go quarterback early. I'm not going for him.
That's what I'm saying. Like he would have to fall to me.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I'm fine if he falls, but yeah, I'm not going to target him early like a lot of these people are doing.
Yeah.
And more power to you if you're in my draft and that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'll take that and be happy that you did it.
And here's the thing, like even. Again, when you, nobody's ever going to draft Pat in front of me, but like when you again look at the other guys, like Joe Burrow has missed a lot of time in his brief career. Josh Allen has lost a lot of his weapons. Tua, we know he's very sort of fragile. A lot of the better talents are there's. It's
not only fragile. Not only fragile. Even if you think Tua is going to make it the whole year, what you got to worry about is Tua starts playing bad towards the end of the year when it starts getting cold. That's fantasy playoff time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he's your quarterback and it's 40 degrees or lower, you can hang it up. You're not going to win that week because he just doesn't play well in cold weather. He doesn't play well in chilly weather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's
And then you got you got Aaron Rodgers coming off the Achilles.
What do you do with that?
Old.
What do you do with that?
You have unstable situation in Cleveland. You have unstable situation in New England. The Giants we know suck. Rookie quarterback in Washington. Rookie quarterback in Denver. Justin Herbert, who again I'm not in his camp, but he's got a decent pedigree here. But honestly, with the Jim Harbaugh football,
they're going to run it.
His statistics may not be as good as they were last year, but the team may be better.
Yeah.
So that's there. Geno Smith's a very wishy-washy guy.
Dak is always a solid fantasy-wise.
Yeah, Dak's solid.
But again, not a guy I would go early with.
You got to look at Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Brock is solid fantasy guy.
Also, like the other one you get is like Penix and Cousins.
Yeah.
And Russell and Fields. Like those are 2 jobs that are like you can't pick one of those guys with a high confidence rate that they're going to be the full-time starter.
If I'm stuck with Russell or Fields, I'm just not playing that this year.
Yeah,
I don't want any one of them. But you can talk me into Penix or Cousins, like for various different reasons.
But the problem is, it's like I think the likelihood that they split the games one way or another due to injury, performance, whatever, is high.
Yeah.
So you're either going to be you got to almost draft both.
Yeah.
To hedge that bet.
Yeah.
CJ's probably as good as
CJ
number
is
2.
solid. CJ is really CJ looks really good because of all the weapons they gave him.
He played very well last year, and they bringing the weapons in. Lamar's probably pretty good.
Lamar's always pretty solid.
And Purdy.
Yeah.
It's got to be a pretty comfortable pick. like David Carr, and then Spencer Rattler's done some decent things. So if Carr struggles, they have a guy that's good enough to maybe threaten the spot a little bit. You go around. I mean, then you got the guy in Carolina, Blake.
Shit,
he's terrible.
He's awful.
You go through the league, man. There's a lot more question marks than there is certainty at quarterback, and so to me, it almost drives even further if you can get one of the few clear-cut, blue chip guys. I don't know how you avoid it.
Yeah.
How do you don't do it? Who's even going to play in Minnesota?
Is that the guy who was with the Jets, Sam Darnold?
Yeah, he blows. But you've got Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
The other guy, the receiver.
Yeah. He came on last year.
USC was good.
Yeah, he came on last year.
So they have some weapons, and maybe that's not a bad job. Caleb early, but again, it's a rookie, unproven.
Yeah, but I'm taking.
You know
Caleb.
who actually looks really like a good pick is Jared Goff.
Yeah, with all of these,
he's in a very good system.
Mr. Consistent. He's Mr. Consistent.
Yeah,
man.
and there's a lot of consistency to what they're doing.
The new best tight end in the league, Sam Porter. Porter right under Kelsey.
How would you? I mean, like that. How crazy is it that like he's actually a guy that you're going to have to be like, hey, he might easily be a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah,
fantasy purposes, because you look at it like he's been a pretty healthy dude. He's on an established offense with a lot of good weapons. And he's coming off of a pretty solid year, and he has no challenger to his job.
You wouldn't have thought that 2 to 3 years ago.
Right,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? Yeah.
And, well, hey, forget about that. Stafford,
too.
Not going to be a sexy pick, but, I mean,
he has really good weapons.
Cooper Kupp should hopefully be closer to who he is.
Yeah, and
Kua was good. And then they got another guy this year.
They do.
The name's escaping me.
Yeah.
Why can't I think
And they have backs that catch out of the backfield.
Yeah.
I know Van Jefferson, I think, is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they got another like pretty good receiver. Now I can't think of the name though.
Yeah.
But a good playmaking guy.
Yeah.
Oh no, Lad McConkey from Georgia.
Oh, okay.
The rookie.
Yeah.
And he's had a good camp.
Yeah.
So no, it'll be interesting. But I definitely now that I'm actually thinking about this, there's a whole lot of things to consider.
It is, man.
Before these couple drafts coming up.
Yeah, more so players. I try to go I try to map it out where I'll go position wise, and then just take the best available. That's how I try to map it out.
Yeah.
And go from there. Especially in these 2 quarterback leagues versus, the standard. Because in the 2 quarterback leagues, then I definitely want to go quarterback early.
Yeah.
If it's still 1 quarterback, I'll let you go crazy with Pat, and I'll take my chances on the back end.
Yeah.
But 2 quarterback league, I try to go quarterback early.
For sure. Because it's guaranteed. I mean, when you get a top guy, it's just guaranteed solid points every week.
Yeah.
Like your floor of performance is already kind of like there, and if you could get anything out of the other spots, you're going to be really tough to beat. So.
All right. Well,
but you guys ignore what I said. If we're in the same league, do whatever you're planning to do. Draft a guy that retired, whatever.
We got GM5 Rec League this Saturday.
Yes.
Crohn's Academy in Sanford, Florida.
Come out and watch.
We got a good team here. You any idea of your rotation?
No, we'll see who shows up. Not a big rotation guy. You just gotta. I always like by the middle of the third quarter, I start thinking of the closing group. That's more important than anything else. It's like, okay, who do I want to have ready, fresh, and engaged for the final, 5, 6, 7 minutes, fourth quarter, whatever the case might be. That's what you're looking at. So whoever has proven themselves to be of value, getting to that point where I feel like, hey, that guy's got to be on the floor. And if you don't have a closing group, you're not in a good place. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. And then hopefully the game is out of hand anyway. So
I always love a game that's out of hand. In my favor. Nah, I definitely enjoy a game that's out of hand.
Oh man.
Obviously there's a certain emotion and joy that comes from winning a close game, but man, there's nothing like a game out of hand.
Yeah.
It's just good to smack people around. Let's be an abuser out here.
Yeah.
So you get to kind of chill in the fourth quarter, watch the bench guys run around and do goofy stuff. Yeah, man.
What's out of hand to you though? Like how many points?
It's not as much. I would say, well, in my head, I'm thinking like 17, 18-point lead. But you're also reading, have we broken them?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you play for. You play to break people.
Yeah.
When they're just they've lost hope, they're going through the motions, they just want to be out of there. That's what you play for.
Hopefully the guys took my message good. You saw what I said in there?
Yeah, Bubba trying to be a little inspiration.
Yeah. Let's try to kill him every week. That way Bubba get us some extra minutes there.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the carrot everybody wanted to eat. But it was worth a shot.
The last thing here before we get off, they did name Russell Wilson as the starter over Justin Fields.
Yeah, I saw that.
In Pittsburgh. For some whatever reason, they've been getting a lot of pub. I guess there's not much else to talk about. I've never been big on Fields. One of the guys I'm really cool with, Dave, he's a huge he's from Chicago, so he's a Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls guy. He always was, you got to give him a chance, and he needs this, and he needs that. I'm like, no, he just needs to fucking get out of the league. He's just not, he's never going to be a good NFL quarterback because he has like glaring lapses when you're watching the game. Like sometimes he'll just drop the ball. He doesn't read coverages that well. Yes, he has some abilities. He can run out of the pocket. He has a deep range accuracy to a degree, but he has just these fucking lapses that he just from game to game you just can't have as a starting NFL quarterback. And Russell, he's just cooked. He's just done. He's just, he's one of those guys who just got old fast, and it's just over.
Well, the margin on his performance being like a smaller guy who relied on a lot of mobility to make things happen, there was a small margin on his performance from being high end to very mediocre, and I think he's past that. But Fields, I thought at Ohio State, I actually thought he was going to be a good pro quarterback. I thought I saw a good strong arm, athleticism. I remember watching, I think it was a Clemson game when they were playing against Clemson. I saw some real grit and toughness in him. And I was, kind of sold. I thought he'd be pretty good. No doubt he's been disappointing. My litmus test on a quarterback, though, is comfort. How do you feel when you watch the game? Because you could get to the end of a game, like I watched, obviously I watched the Florida State game. DJ had modest stats. I'm just throwing this out. I want to say maybe 14 for 21 and 155 yards. They're not bad stats. No interceptions. He wasn't putting the ball on the deck. He wasn't taking a ton of sacks, but you didn't feel that he was driving the team forward either.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't feel that he was grabbing the game and moving things. And so I didn't feel like he was in command. I didn't feel comfortable with him leading our team. And that's that thing that I think you want to do. And I'll never forget watching Jameis's debut against Pitt for Florida State. And I didn't have any amazing expectation, but just watching him in that one game, slinging it around, making the plays that he made, just the air of confidence, the way the team seemed to feed off of him. I called my dad that night on the way back from the house. I said, we got a guy.
Yeah, I think I did too.
And it's just you called my dad?
No, I think I called my dad. You gotta watch this guy, this guy over here.
But and Fields though, as a Bear, never gave you that.
Yeah.
And very few, to be fair, very few guys did. But that's one of those things you gotta have a feel for it.
Yeah. The one stat that always gets me, and I was like, yeah, that sounds right. Last year, the number one and number two most sacked quarterbacks last year was Fields and Russell. And I was
the Steelers big booster to get both of those guys.
One was ranked number one, the other was ranked number two.
Oh, that's great.
And that's that's it, man.
Yeah.
And then here is one of the coaches here for another team says Fields is younger and more electrifying than Russell, showcasing big play potential in the preseason. But he has struggled with more fundamental aspects of the position, like accuracy, reading defenses, and getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He's prone to taking sacks.
Yeah.
And there remain serious questions whether he can ever be more than a below-average passer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly how I feel when I'm watching him. So, I don't know. If you're a Steelers fan, you can't feel good. But again, at least they got over Pickett. I guess this is both quarterbacks is an upgrade over Pickett.
Well, you hope.
And
so.
then also what helps is you're not tied long term, and you don't have a lot of money tied up in either one of these quarterbacks.
Right.
So
yeah, no, you can definitely get away from both of these guys if you have to.
Yeah.
No.
And then maybe when Dak leaves Dallas next year, if he doesn't sign within the next week or two, you just go all out for Dak. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think you go out for Dak.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go all out.
That's not sexy.
Go all out for a rookie again. Just don't. Yeah, just don't get caught up paying a guy like Dak a bunch of money.
Yeah, but they probably will. A team like Pittsburgh.
I don't think. I mean, Pittsburgh has not done that.
But they feel like they're on the cusp. But you got Tomlin. You got, especially if they have a terrible quarterback output season again. Like, it's going to be a lot of stress in that.
Well, here's the dynamic of that makes this, to me, what I'm saying is true. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season.
Mm-hmm.
History tells you that he'll find a way to get this team to around 500, middle of the pack. They're not going to have a disastrous season,
okay,
which means they're not going to be in that mix of the top couple picks. So again, you have that confidence. We're not going to be terrible. We don't need to go spend a fortune on Dak or some other guy. And historically, that franchise has not done that. Perhaps better than any other franchise in football. But if the bottom falls out, if Tomlin has a losing year and it's total trash, then they should be close enough to the top of the draft to draft a good rookie. That's how I'm looking at it. So I don't think they're in the mix just historically or situationally to pay Dak or go for a player of that caliber, a veteran guy who's going to have a high price tag.
No, I got you. All right, well, we'll see what's going on. Catch you guys next week on the bench.
We're out.